it's a big day. Swagger's daughters are in the house.
They're here,
It's a family affair today. Jeff Darlington, fresh off knocking the cover off the ball at Bayonne Golf Club all day long yesterday. The one, the only Tedy Bruschi is up early with us this morning. He is ready to go. Let's do this thing. Hall of Fame game last night.
Tedy B.
Bears, Texans, Hall of Fame game in Canton. So good to see football back and better than ever. Caleb Williams, CJ Stroud not playing. Devin Hester among the Hall of Famers who were honored last night. And speaking of Hester, here we go. This is the biggest thing from last night. Our first look at the new kickoff rule. The kicker lining up by himself. Kicking team lines up at the opposing 40. Receiving team lines up between their own 30 and 35. Players lined up there cannot move until the receiving team touches the ball. Any kickoff that goes in the landing zone, meaning between the end zone and the 20, must be returned. Touchbacks are still the same, but the ball now goes to the 30. So those are the new rules. Marcus, how do you like the new rule as we see the first one here? Steven Sims.
I love the new rule, G. I love the fact that we got 7 returns out of 8 kickoffs, which is what they were trying to accomplish, to put the returner back as a prevalent part in the game.
And making it safer than it used to be. Meanwhile, here, a little action from the Texans here. Cam Akers had himself a couple nice plays.
Yeah, we remember how explosive he was. Injuries has kind of derailed his career, but hopefully he can find his footing and get back to being the explosive player he is.
Stroud fired up on the sideline. Case Keenum doing the quarterbacking here. That's Akers for a touchdown. Texans had a 17-7 lead. You know what? A good night for Chicago. Colin Johnson, fourth-year wide receiver out of Texas, playing with Brett Rippon at quarterback. Look at this nice grab here.
Gee, you got to love this big body. He was coming out of Texas. People expected him to explode out of college because of his size and stature. Look like they're going to try to use it in Chicago. Hopefully Colin makes the roster.
Yeah, 3 nice catches last night for him, including this touchdown from Rippon here. So Johnson, 3 grabs, 56 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the play. And then the weather came. It was first delayed 36 minutes, and then they decided to call it. So the game called last night because of lightning and thunder and rain in the area. So the final score, Bears 21, Texans 17. That's obviously not the important part of this, but some interesting moments that we did get to see. And while the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, did not play last night, he did take part in the pregame warm-ups. His plan is to get between 45 and 55 snaps in Chicago's 3 remaining preseason games. Yesterday, here on Get Up, Dan Orlovsky had this to say about the enormous expectations.
CJ Stroud had arguably the greatest season in the history of a rookie quarterback in our league. That's with Peyton Manning, that's with Andrew Luck, but to sit there and think, oh my gosh, he's going to break CJ Stroud's record from what he did last year, we're setting this young man up to be a failure in people's eyes, and that's not fair.
It's an interesting thought. Tedy Bruschi, I will start with you. Do you believe that CJ Stroud last year set a bar that is so high that it is going to skew the way we view rookie quarterbacks going forward? Meaning, is there an undue amount of pressure on Caleb Williams to be brilliant this season?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Caleb, I mean, he has high expectations on himself. I truly believe that season last year by C.J. Stroud was an anomaly, guys. I mean, that just doesn't happen. That type of success, that type of making the playoffs, the numbers were crazy numbers. C.J. Stroud was had one of those rare seasons. You know, can he follow it up? We'll see. But to say Caleb has to live up to that, we are talking the Chicago Bears here, you know, and they're used to seeing quarterback play that's a lot less than this. I think competency is the one thing the fans will want first of all, and then if it takes off, maybe. But I think he's going to be an exciting player. I can't wait to watch him, but to put him to that standard, I mean, sure, you can say that that's the bar, but realistically, is that achievable? I don't think so.
Well, that's the point here, Marcus, is that here are all the things that we've heard. One, he's a generational prospect. We've known about him forever. Won the Heisman 2 years ago. Been talking about him since he was at Oklahoma. 2, no rookie quarterback taken number 1 has ever walked into a situation this good. Look at the weapons. Look at the line. Look at the defense. 3. C.J. Stroud just threw for 4,000 yards as a rookie last year. So what does that mean for the expectations and the way we will view this year?
That means week in and week out, we'll be looking for Caleb Williams to show us what C.J. Stroud showed us. I don't care what anybody says. This league is about comparison, right? We always trying to find the next one. Do I expect them to live up to that expectation? No. But do I think that the Chicago Bears fans and us in media will be looking to see if Caleb Williams can give us some of that memory of what we were seeing from C.J. Stroud so we can get excited about what the Chicago Bears are? And here's the other thing, G. Outside of being a rookie, there's no excuse for him not to have a lot of success with what's around him. When you start, DJ Moore was just signed as a #1 wide receiver. When you talk about the money, they draft Rome Odunze. The Chicago Bears expect it.
Yeah,
like we can kid ourselves, but when you bring Keenan Allen in, a dude that's accustomed to catching 100 balls a year, every year, no matter what, you expect him to have success. They went out in another unsung move. They went out and got DeAndre Swift, a back out of the backfield that's going to be dynamic. The Chicago Bears did not prepare for Caleb Williams like we just expect him to be a solid rookie and we want to have some success. They prepared for him to be a star coming out of the gate. And this is one of those situations as well. We're not having a conversation about who's going to be the starter, whose team this is going to be. Like, they expect Caleb Williams to have that type of year.
It feels like two things can be right here. Like, we can avoid recency bias and not compare him to C.J. Stroud, but also have super high expectations
100%.
Based on the fact that really he is overqualified to be the first overall pick. Like, the Bears don't deserve to get him first overall, like the way that this worked out.
The way it worked out, yeah.
This is a scenario where the expectations feel like they should be as high as they currently are.
When we look at all, but part of this is going to be measured in team success as well, Tedy. The way this team finished strong last year, defense played real well, division is really tough. What would constitute a good year for the Bears to you, Tedy? As we look at that team and where it sort of stands with a rookie quarterback, what would constitute a good season in your mind for them?
Yeah, you guys sound like it's just going to be automatic. Just get him receiver, get him a back. I mean, bring him in a new offensive coordinator. Here we go. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards. It just doesn't happen like that.
That's a start.
Yeah, it is a start. You know, you get a center and Bates coming in. You got 2 offensive tackles. I mean, this guy's going to be offensive rookie of the year. There's no doubt about it. It's not automatic, and you guys know that too. Yeah. I mean, listen, here. Realistically, for the Bears, your question, Greeny, is like, okay, they won 7 games last year. I think the Bears fans can realistically say when we get to December, I mean, we should be playing for the playoffs. I mean, now the playoffs, I mean, that's 17. Sometimes all you need is 9 victories. It's like, can they be playing late December for like, man, if we get this one and, you know, the Vikings lose this one, we can possibly squeak in as the playoffs? I think that's realistic for the Bears. So, I mean, believe me, my sort of opinion on that 7th playoff team is low, you know, because adding them, it just brings a lot of other teams into play. But still, a Bears team that has Caleb and a lot of new additions, it could be realistic for them.
Can I point out how brutal the back half of their schedule is? Okay, starting on November 17th, they play all of their division games. Right? So they play no division games until November 17th. Wow. So then after that, they play the Packers twice, they play the Lions twice, they play Minnesota twice. We'll see how good they are. Plus, they have San Francisco in that stretch at the end. So the second half, the back half of their schedule is really, really rough.
And, G, listen, man, to Tedy's point, like we can get carried away, but I also want people to remember Chicago Bears at the end of the season last year were one of the top defenses in the NFL.
That's right.
They addressed a lot of things. You talk about Edwards coming over from the Philadelphia Eagles, Edmonds they got from the Buffalo Bills. They signed Montez Sweat, who led teams, a couple teams in the league in sacks. Jalen Johnson on the back end. Look, the cupboard in Chicago wasn't bare. It wasn't bare, but I think Ryan Poles did what you have to do in order to get good quickly. He addressed the line of scrimmage.
So the Bears cupboard wasn't bare, and we'll see what they're able to do. See, wasn't really that. He's not working on much sleep.
You laugh at all his jokes.
Now I know how tired you are. That really wasn't that funny. But the man was working till 2 o'clock in the morning last night. We'll cut Swagoo some slack. Put some extra strong coffee in that mug. Let's keep it rolling here, guys. Let's play a game called What If. And Marcus, I'm coming right back to you, and this one's going to put you in a bad mood. What if CeeDee Lamb holds out all the way till week 1, big fella?
That means that the Dallas Cowboys have went through training camp without their most dominant weapon and a guy that is looked at as a top 5 receiver in this league. When you let a lot of guys walk off this team last year, and now you start to determine if him and Dak Prescott will have the rapport that you need early in the season with a team that we don't expect to be as good as the 12-win teams that we've seen in the previous 3 years. This is an abysmal disaster for the Dallas Cowboys. The fact that we're having this conversation about CeeDee Lamb, and oh, by the way, their quarterback is not signed to a long-term deal either.
He's probably not going to be, but CeeDee Lamb we would assume is going to be. Tedy, if one were to say, you just tell me if this is an overstatement, CeeDee Lamb is the Cowboys' offense? Does that seem like going too far? Because I'm not convinced that it is. I don't understand how this deal hasn't gotten done. How would you describe what CeeDee Lamb is to this offense?
He's vital. You need him out there. Dak loves the guy. I mean, this guy is one of the best in the game. And to your question, holding out until week 1, this is what happens with receivers and receivers that don't get contracts. So they come in and they haven't done anything in the preseason. Then all of a sudden he's going out there trying to play an entire game. And then the hammy pulls and it's a 3-week hammy, but you haven't paid me, so now it's an 8-week hammy. So then all of a sudden the season's blown and CeeDee Lamb's just waiting to get paid and the Dallas Cowboys' chances are blown. So yeah, I would say pay the guy.
I mean, pay the man. Well, when is this going to happen, Jeffrey?
It has to happen soon. This is not a scenario where you want to see a holdout by any means.
Why is this? He's holding out. Why is this taking so long? I could make this deal.
Jerry Jones knows what the blueprint is. He has seen what Justin Jefferson got, and maybe that's the problem. You got a guy who's saying, I should get that, and you've got a team that's saying, well, not quite, and that's the gap they have to close. And they don't have much time to do it.
They were in the same draft, by the way, Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb, and they're right there. And Lamb's production, I know people will say Jefferson's the best receiver in the sport. He probably is. Lamb's production has basically been right there. I'm not sure why this thing hasn't gotten done. Let's do another what if. Jeff, this one starts with you. What if the 49ers decide we can't make this thing work and they wind up trading away Brandon Ayuk?
They are still Super Bowl contenders. Look, Brandon Ayuk is an incredible talent, but this is a team stocked with incredible talent. You still have Deebo Samuel. You have a team that spent their first-round pick on a wide receiver. You have Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the NFL. You have George Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the NFL, and Brock Purdy, a guy who managed them all efficiently. I don't think they need Brandon Ayuk to win a Super Bowl.
You agree with that, Marcus?
No, I love you, Jeff, but I vehemently disagree because of what Green Bay and Detroit is. And we saw those teams in the playoffs against San Francisco, and Ayuk played a big role in that. I hate fighting with you, and I get it. Like we've grown so accustomed to Shanahan offense is phenomenal. We've grown accustomed to obviously talking about CMC. The other big elephant in the room is Trent Williams that ain't in camp either.
Right.
As we talk about Brandon Ayuk, but Brandon Ayuk is the guy I believe on that team. When you talk about a one-on-one matchup that creates opportunities and space for a lot of guys, I think he impacted the way they played offense last year, probably more than anybody outside of Christian McCaffrey.
You see the way Swagger just killed me with kindness?
Well,
no,
yes,
I agree with
because
you.
I love you.
It's better than any other way of killing you. I think that. I think
all
that
bad.
the point is he is an element to their offense that they don't have without him. Now, can Ricky Pearsall, who's the number 1 first-round pick you're talking about, can he provide that? I guess time will tell.